Hey, HCC, welcome to another daily Devo in the book of Philippians. My name is Pastor Todd, and this is from chapter 3, verses 4 through 7. Let me read the passage. It's Paul finishing a thought, though I myself have reasons for such confidence, and then he explains why. If someone else thinks they have reasons to put confidence in the flesh, I have more. Here's his pedigree: circumcised on the 8th day, of the people of Israel, of the tribe of Benjamin, a Hebrew of Hebrews, to regard to the law of Pharisee, as for zeal, even persecuting the church, as for righteousness based on the law, faultless. But whatever were gains to me, I now consider loss for the sake of Christ. So you hear Paul's list of these are all my accomplishments. This is all my status. And here today we kind of go, that doesn't mean much to me, or it doesn't sound all that big a deal. I want to tell you, if you understood Judaism in the first century, he was the cream of the crop, no doubt about it. He had all this great reason to feel great value in what he had achieved and done. But he goes on to say, I don't consider those things gains like I used to. I now consider them a loss. The Greek word for these three words, or Greek words for these three words, gains, consider, and loss, you wouldn't necessarily be surprised to know they're all words that have a financial understanding. They're all words that talk about gain, loss, and evaluation through the lens of monetary realities. And so when you think about this, think of it this way: something is gainful because it produces a profit. That's true in our lives as we know it. And something is evaluated, there's that word considered, as loss, there's that third word, because it doesn't just break even. We're not talking about, well, it's a loss because it netted me zero. No, it's a loss because it actually suffered financial deficit. So Paul is saying, what I thought before was a gain, profit to me, I now consider a deficit, a loss in my life. Think about you and your life. Have you experienced gains and losses in your lifetime? Undoubtedly. Financially, potentially relationally, and even related to status. Those are just three examples of things that over time have changed. Well, I had to figure out in my Devo opportunities with you how to get this story in. 2008 Memphis Tigers men's basketball team, originally at the end of the season, finished the year 38-2. However, because of the way that they had treated one of their star players, his name rhymes with Derrick Rose, and the way that they had some other team violations, their wins were, quote, vacated, and they ended up 0-1. 38-2 to 0-1. And by the way, those aren't technically called losses, they're vacated wins. So they're not even technically what we're even talking about today. And why do I bring up the Memphis Tigers? They beat my UCLA Bruins in the Final Four. There's still some angst. But here's my point. When you think of areas in your life that have gone from gains to loss, when you think of the Memphis Tigers and that record from 38-2 to 0-1, when we think of gains to loss, we always lament. There's a sense of discouragement and disappointment that goes along with that. Here's the thing about Paul. He says, couldn't be further from the truth. When I realized as the ladder I was climbing of Judaism, when I got to the top, I realized I was on the wrong building. And whatever was gained to me, I now consider it was a loss of time, a loss of energy, a loss of understanding of what I was really called to, not to persecute the church, but to encourage it and grow it. So as you think about your life today, I bet you could say the same. There were things in my life that I was chasing after, that I was pursuing, that I thought were gains. But now in light of knowing Jesus, in light of following him, I realized, man, those are losses. I'm going after what really matters. And my hope is today, would you consider anew what were gains and what now you realize were losses and what you're gaining now by following Jesus?